Alright guys, what is up? I thought today would be a good day idea to show what truck I drive. The ins and outs of it, how it operates, how safe is it, how governed is it, that kind of jazz. Because I drive for KLM. If you didn't know, KLM is a big company of about 2,000 trucks. You can go to school for them and graduate. They'll hire you, throw you in a truck, and get you out on the road making some money. So with companies like that, they typically have trucks that are pretty governed, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because I never really seen anything on the internet prior to getting this job. And you know, the truck, how it operates, is a pretty big part of your day, because you're in it all the time, you're driving it all the time. So I just kind of wanted to share how this truck is, and this is probably going to be pretty relatable to like Prime, TMC, Swift trucks. I've talked to some other people who know about other companies. I've only been with KLM, so this is all I know. But I've been driving with them since January, so I know a pretty good bit about the ins and outs of how the truck operates, and that's kind of just what I'm going to share today. This is a Freightliner Cascadia. I believe it's a 2022 model. The engine is a Detroit DD15, mated with a D12, 12-speed automatic transmission. Do with that information as you please. I don't really have anything to compare it to. This is the only truck I've ever driven, so as far as I can tell, it pulls fine, it shifts fine. I never really have any issues as far as, you know, engine and transmission goes. Everything seems to be fine. But that is one area where I can kind of talk about a little bit of how governed. So obviously every company has their own regulations and how they spec out their trucks whenever they purchase them. So one thing while we're talking about the engine and transmission, these trucks are programmed in an economy mode, so fuel economy. Obviously they want to save fuel with their trucks. So as far as pulling and shifting goes, I have noticed that whenever you're pulling, it shifts early in the RPMs to kind of save for fuel. You know, the higher the RPM, the more fuel it uses, so they want them to shift early. Is that a problem? Not really. Can be when you're trying to go up big hills, getting speed beforehand, when you're heavily loaded, that kind of stuff. But overall, not too bad. So I'm gonna jump in and show you guys more about the cruise control, because it's like 100 degrees out today and it's hot out there. So we're gonna blast some AC and talk about the cruise control. Alright, so yeah, engine and transmission, fine. I don't have any issues with it. We can go ahead and talk about a big topic, which is how fast are they? You know, what is the top speed? And so the top speed on my Freightliner with KLM is 61 miles an hour on the accelerator pedal. So what do I mean by that? You get in the truck, throw it in drive, start driving. With just using the accelerator pedal normally, it will only get up to 61 miles an hour. Now, 61 miles an hour is very slow. Most of the speed limits are 70, 75, 80 out in Texas. So yeah, when it comes to making money per mile, you kind of want to get those miles faster. So 61 is very slow. Now, however, that is not the top speed. Whenever you initiate cruise control on this truck, you are able to get up to 65 miles an hour. So 4 miles an hour faster than 61. Yeah, it's not much, but over a long period of time, that 4 miles an hour is awesome. So yeah, you activate cruise control on the steering wheel here, and you can get up to 65. Now, you can get the truck This is only with KLM that I know of, because other people don't know what I'm talking about whenever I tell them this, but the trucks can get up to 70 miles an hour. Now, you have, see this PassSmart 30 minutes there. Now, I haven't driven today, I haven't used any of it. So what that is at the first of the day, when you first start driving, you should have regenerated this 30 minutes of PassSmart. Now, what is PassSmart? How does it work? Basically, I can hit the accelerator 3 times and hold it down, and that will activate PassSmart. Now, my speedometer will light up blue whenever it's active, and that will allow you to get up to 70 miles an hour. Now, while you're in PassSmart, that 30 minutes starts counting down. So as soon as I activate PassSmart, that 30-minute timer starts running down. Whenever I get out of PassSmart, it stops. So you have 30 minutes of 70 miles an hour, basically, is all that is. So obviously what it's designed for is in the name PassSmart. It's made to pass somebody. It can be very aggravating when your truck tops out at 65 miles an hour. Somebody in front of you is doing 63. Well, that 2 miles an hour isn't really going to get you around them, so I guess that's why they put in the PassSmart. You can get up to 70, get around them, pass them. So I found, yeah, I use it mostly in that situation. I use it to get up hills whenever I'm very heavy. You know, getting your momentum up before you start climbing the hill is very important, because if not, yeah, you're not going to be climbing that hill very fast depending on how big it is. So that is one thing that KLM has. I don't know about other companies. I've never heard of another company having that. Nobody ever knows what I'm talking about. So also, that 30 minutes will repopulate. It's really random, to be honest, but to me it seems to be about every 6 to 8 hours. Say if I'm driving an 11-hour day, I may get 2, sometimes 3 of those. So do with that information as you will. But so yeah, the truck on the accelerator pedal gets up to 61, cruise control 65, and then you have the PassSmart to play with. So yeah, these trucks are very slow. Obviously they do that to keep new drivers on the road safe. Do I think that's a problem? Not really. It doesn't really bother me that much. Like, yeah, I get aggravated at going really slow sometimes when I can only do 65 and the speed limit's 75. Yeah, I would like to go faster, but you know, that's there for safety reasons. That's kind of one reason why they can hire anybody right off the road, is because they have their trucks governed down. Now, something that does bother me would be the cruise control. Now, when you're in cruise control, these trucks have a lot of sensors on them. You know, they read what's in front of you, how far they are in front of you, how fast they're going in front of you. So I guess that's what you have in a bunch of newer vehicles, the adaptive cruise control. So whenever you're in cruise control, somebody's going slower than you, the truck will automatically slow down to their speed, you know. It'll automatically brake if it's a severe speed difference. You know, if somebody hits the brakes in front of you abruptly, the truck will also. That can be a little bit annoying, especially in certain situations when you're trying to keep momentum to get up large hills, stuff like that. You just kind of have to get used to it and learn what it does. There is a way you can set that distance that it reads. It'll let you go down to about 2.3 seconds. So it's not braking or slowing you down as early. Other than that, Another thing, this one probably aggravates me the most about the cruise control, and that is when you're in cruise control, say you're going up a hill and you reach the very top of the hill, the truck will sense that you're about to be going down a hill. So if there's a downhill in front of you, the sensors can read that the elevation is changing, and it will automatically just kind of kill acceleration no matter what speed you're going. This is something I don't really agree with. So we'll say, for example, if I'm cruising at 65 miles an hour and there's a downhill in front of me, the truck will automatically just quit accelerating because it doesn't want to accelerate down the hill. Now, I get it, I guess, you know, it doesn't want to gain speed before going down a big hill, I get it, but it does it on these smallest hills, the smallest elevation changes. And say I have my cruise control set to 65 miles an hour, if I'm going up a steep hill that, you know, decreases my speed down to, let's say, 45, by the time I get to the top of the hill doing 45 miles an hour and it sees I'm about to go down a hill, it still stops accelerating at 45 miles an hour. I don't like that. I don't, you know, I should be the one in control of how fast I'm gonna go down the hill. That's probably that's probably my biggest pet peeve with the cruise control is, you know, that decel. So yeah, that's probably my number one complaint. I don't really agree with getting to the top of the hill at 45 miles an hour and it just stops accelerating. Yeah, you can get around it. If you're under 61 miles an hour, you just hit the accelerator pedal and it'll keep climbing. One thing I have learned, a little trick tip here. This is the cruise control settings. You got cancel, reset, set. So, say you get to the top of the hill and it quits accelerating and you have it on cruise control, you can hit cancel and reset and you'll gain a little bit of speed, and then it'll stop and you hit cancel, reset again, and it just kind of inches over the hill. That is something that I've kind of learned a little workaround to it. It's like there's a little bit of delay for the truck recognizing that you're about to go down a hill. So whenever you reset the cruise control, it will speed up for a split second before it notices you're about to go down a hill, and it'll, you know, kill power again. So you can kind of get around that and climb inch over the hills using that method. Something I've gotten very used to, but yeah. So what else? Talked about the sensors, cruise control, very slow. I guess while we're inside the cab, I'll kind of go over another thing. This is a close running second to the cruise control, and that would be that, at least with KLM, they don't allow you to idle the trucks. Again, to save fuel and I guess the life of the motor. So whenever I'm sitting here in this parking lot, I will have a warning flash up within about 5 minutes if I don't press the accelerator pedal, that the truck will shut down within about 200 seconds. So while you're sitting here, you constantly have to hit override, you know, if you don't want the truck to shut down. So they do have something called interior comfort mode, and that is a setting that you can go into here, right here, optimize idle. You can click that and enable interior comfort mode. So what that does is you put it in interior comfort mode and set, you know, if it's hot out, you can set your air conditioning to a certain degree, and it should start and stop the truck, keeping your climate control on throughout the night, day, whatever. I don't have the best luck with it. There's been multiple times I've woken up very hot, the truck's not starting back. Can be very aggravating. Same with the heat. Whenever it's very cold, trying to run the heater, You know, the truck's not running, so the truck gets cold. That doesn't really heat the truck back up. So that's another thing that's a little aggravating to me is that I talked to somebody who gave me a little bit of advice on how to keep it going better in the heat. But yeah, so the truck starts and stops automatically in that interior comfort mode to try to keep the climate in the cab and in the sleeper comfortable, basically. It doesn't really work that well to me, to be honest. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else right now. I kind of went over a good bit. Those are the main things that separate these big company trucks to like your owner-op trucks and stuff like that. So I guess that's all I have for this video. If I think of anything else, I'll pick the camera back up, but if not, I guess that's the end of this video. I have to go pick up a load and drive 1,000 miles in a couple of days, and I'm gonna get ready for that. So I hope this video helped anybody. Like I said before, I never really had any information on the actual truck before getting this job, which is kind of important. You know, I like to know these things. These are just things that I've figured out along the way, and thought I would share with the camera. So hope that helped. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and see you in the next one. Peace.